Hey guys, how's it going today? How's everything? So this is Johannes Pilar here. I'm speaking from Ecological Knowledge Headquarters, I guess, if you want to call it like that. So this is my first video on call. As you guys can see in the back there, I got my own library. I'm in my house as well. So I just wanted to go over a book today and do a book review this time, video and stuff. I want to add more um, personality to my blog so that you guys get to know who I am and stuff a bit. I'm actually a recently graduated university student um, who actually who has a bachelor in international studies. Um, I live in Canberra, Australia, um, and yeah. So I wanted to go over this book today. The international bestseller book, Anthony Robbins' "Awaken the Giant Within." Take immediate control of your mental, emotional, physical, and financial destiny. Right. So I mean, simply from this book, right? I'm not gonna read it, of course, but the wonderful thing I've always got about Anthony Robbins is that he's a guy. He's more than a motivational speaker in my sense. I think he's a guy that really knows how to put in like the um, practical, realistic, effective ways of the how any individual in any circumstance in anywhere of their life can actually change like that. And he shows techniques, and he shows ways of the how we can change what we're actually focusing on, how we feel, and how we're moved, and how we can take control and harness back the horse or like our own will basically, which though determines what we do in this life, right? So in this book basically, right, this was actually my first book really, which actually got me started on the whole reading a lot of books and stuff. Him as well as a great guy called Ty Lopez. Um, whoever is here listening to me and stuff, if you guys go on tylopez.com, he formulated something called the 67 rules, or the 67 steps. Sorry. And what it is basically is that every day he goes over one step basically until 67 um, days are done basically, and it's a compilation of what he got throughout his life, and of some of the effective and some of the habits he has used to achieve what he has achieved. And if you guys look at some of Ty Lopez's Periscope calls and stuff inside his house and stuff, he lives in a mansion. He's living the life, and everything. So he's a really good guy. I think he holds a vast array of knowledge and stuff, and so I hope that you guys follow him as well. But going back to Anthony Robbins, right? So in the book, basically, right, Awaken the Giant Within, um, there are some important stuff which I took, which I implement practically in my life every single day, right? So the first one is that um, you know, you know how most people say think positive. That's all you have to do. Just get up every single day and say, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. But what Anthony Robbins says is that an affirmation, as I call it, doesn't is not really effective. Really, it won't actually change your life that much. So what you have to do is that you have to do an incantation. So every morning in my life, I spend about 2 minutes where I get emotionally fit, basically. That's how I call it. Um, and I do this incantation, and you guys can copy me exactly. Use the exact words I say. I say, I ask in the future for not more riches, but more wisdom. To use and accept wisely the riches I received at birth in the form of power and control to direct my mind in whatever ends I desire. And I just say that for like those 2 minutes straight, basically. And what I do is that I actually yell it out, basically, and I get emotionally involved. So I hit my chest, or I like to move my hands around in a circle, or I jump up, or I do push-ups while I'm actually saying it. So because I want to get emotionally fit, and so Anthony Robbins talks about that emotion is controlled by motion. So the way to change your emotion or the way to get emotionally fit is to simply move. Create a um, create a certain movement. We all have different effective ways how we get in state. That's my way. That's how I prefer how to do it. You can also take it or not. Now, of course, ecologically, right? What else can you apply to your life, basically, which will help your life like that, right? Anthony Robbins says, that the quality of our life basically is determined by the state we're in. So we all have different states. So like people who feel or look disempowered, stressed, depressed, etc. They have overarching hymns. They're always down, they're always whining, they're always complaining. They have a lot of excuses. Their though tone of voice as well is quite low. Quite linear and stuff. So, and then empowering people who have the right of state basically um, hold themselves up towards a effective body language, and they have their back straight, and they hold themselves up high and stuff, and I mean simply by shifting the way that you sit or the way that you stand, and though maintaining your back straight and walking while your back is straight and you're up like that. Just that simple technique gives you automatically the just a sense of empowerment. You feel empowered, you feel moved. Really, it works. Trust me. Try it out. Experiment sometimes. Sometimes when you're stressed or when you're depressed, sometimes just sit up straight and stuff. Breathe a bit, and you'll feel how a lot of that stress or a lot of that negative um, thoughts and stuff, tends to dissipate. Another way what you guys can do, I think it was Amy Cuddy. She and Anthony Robbins are also well linked together, and she stated simply do this basically. Hold your hand out like this. So I'm actually gonna lift it up a bit more. Hold your hand out like this, hold it up like that basically, and simply by doing that basically, right, you get you feel more empowered. Um, you feel more empowering basically. And I do this actually before I go into an interview, right? So what do most people do in an interview? Most people either spend time on their phone or they're either reading stuff, and so they're in a disempowering place where they have their back arched, and they're looking down on the ground, right? And instead of that, what I do is that I go sometimes in the bathroom where no one's looking, basically, and I go to the toilet. And instead of going to the bathroom itself, though, what I do is that I just hold my hands up like this, right? And that, and then I hold it like that for like about a minute, 2 minutes, basically. And simply by doing this, that though gives me more empowered psychology, an empowered state of mind. Simply by doing that, it's fascinating when once you realize that that's such simple techniques create enormous results. Enormous results. Now, another thing I got from the book was questions. The the importance of the asking yourself every single time on a consistent basis, effective, accurate questions. Right. So, of course, we always hear it. And this is a common question most people ask themselves, right? When everything goes wrong all the time, they always tell themselves, um, why does this always happen to me? But Anthony Robbins says that if you ask that question too much times, right, your brain is like a mechanism, sort of, right? So if you ask it a question, it will have to come up with an answer, right? So if you say that question too much times, of course, your brain's gonna come up with an answer why bad things always end up happening to you, right? But what he says is that if you ask more empowering questions, not once but continuously on a consistent basis, right, you will get more empowering answers, right? So if something bad happens to you, instead of saying, why does this always happen to me, you ask yourself, um, how can I learn from this? What has actually happened? Um, what has happened, to me and stuff? Am I in control to interpret it in a different way? So so as you guys can see, just by the tweaking certain questions you ask towards certain events or towards certain actions, really, changes your the state of mind, and changes who you are and stuff, Um, Robert Kiyosaki as well goes about it, that Rich Dad, he wrote his the famous book Rich Dad Poor Dad. He talks about how his rich dad never said, um, to say, I cannot afford it, right? He said, a more empowering question is, how can I afford it? Um, how can I get what I want financially? So simply by tweaking the question, you tweak the approach towards the outcome. Fascinating. And and then of course, lastly, because of course this book has a lot of great stuff. I'm not gonna go all into it though because it will be too much. But I wanted to though simply talk about the power of focus, and why this is so critical, and what Anthony Robbins talks about it, and why it's so important in your life, right? So, as what Anthony Robbins says, where your focus goes, your energy flows. Remember that. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. So, um, what do you focus on in life? Anthony Robbins says that in every moment of your life, and I mean every moment of your life, you you're always making three decisions, and the way you make these three decisions shapes your destiny, right? The first decision you are making every moment of your life is what am I going to focus on? The second decision is what does it mean, and the third decision is what am I going to do? From from the words of the great Anthony Robbins, and so it's it's really important that we consciously are aware of what we focus on, because what we focus on we feel, and what we feel we get moved, and when we get moved, then we end up doing it, so as you guys can see, it's like a little um, chain chain process, right? It doesn't just happen, but it's a chain process. So ask yourself, sometimes, when you feel sad, what am I focusing on? Even when you feel happy, ask yourself, what am I focusing on? I think Anthony Robbins said that in your brain there's something called the RAS, the reticular activating system, and the RAS, consciously decides what you're going to focus on and what you're not going to focus on. So it's about conditioning the RAS in your mind toward to focus on what you want now, really, not based on the past, not based on some past emotional blueprint, nothing like that. Simply on like what you want now. Um, so like the focus is so crucial. How I do it basically is I simply ask myself that simple question. When I feel down, then I tell myself, what am I focusing on? And then I tell myself afterwards, I'm saying, why do I focus on that? And then I say after that, I say, well, can I be focusing on something else, can I be focusing on a more empowering interpretation of what's happening to me? Questions and focus. Voila, right there. Um, and I'm gonna leave it there. I really do highly recommend whoever's watching this to actually buy this book, Awaken the Giant Within. He's also written another book I think called Reawaken the Giant Within. Or you guys can look on at some of Anthony Robbins' YouTube videos. I think there's one called um, Anthony Robbins Words of Wisdom or something, Words of Wisdom, and that's about 40 minutes long or something. And in that book, no, sorry, and in that video, um, he talks a bit about the compilation of what he has taught people throughout his life. I think he's seen more than 3 to 4 million people around the world. So Anthony Robbins has um has a vast array of knowledge of though how to motivate people. And he's a wonderful guy, and so I highly recommend his book and his YouTube videos. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you guys on the next book review. Bye.